Strength and honor.
Strength and honor.
Strength and honor.
Welcome to Watch Mojo, and today we're counting down our picks for the best movies from the turn of the century that are still worth watching today. We will be including movies that first premiered in 1999 or were wide released in 2001. As long as they attracted attention of some kind in 2000, they'll count.
If we talk for too long, I'll forget how we started, and next time I see you, I'm not going to remember this conversation.
Number 25, Meet the Parents.
But I will be watching you, studying your every move. And if I find that you are trying to corrupt my firstborn child, I will bring you down, baby.
Few actors can turn an awkward situation into comedy gold like Ben Stiller, and his abilities reach a fever pitch in this lovable cringe fest. Greg is a nurse looking to propose to his girlfriend Pam, but he must first endure that universal, yet no less frightening experience of meeting his future in-laws. Running afoul of Pam's overbearing father, played by an amusingly deadpan Robert De Niro, Greg's unintentional antics lead to a nightmarish weekend of hilarious proportions. Although its exchanges are uncomfortable, Meet the Parents is an exceptionally well-written movie because of that, and the terrific chemistry between its two leads sell every awkward beat.
I had no idea you could milk a cat.
Oh yeah, you can milk anything with nipples.
I have nipples, Greg. Could you milk me?
These characters may be a little salty, but the movie's message about family and acceptance is certifiably sweet. Number 24, Billy Elliot. Another heartwarming story of family, Billy Elliot earns its wholesome distinction for entirely different reasons. Following a working-class boy who discovers his passion for ballet during a time of social upheaval, it's a film that offers universal lessons regardless of the time and place it's set in.
Excuse me, this is not for my gratification.
And what good's it gonna do him? You're not taking him away. He's only a bairn. What about giving him a childhood?
I don't want a child, I don't want to be a ballet dancer.
Billy's ability to channel his unexpressed feelings into his art speaks to anyone who longs to do the same, regardless of what others may think. But the movie doesn't hand us that lesson on a silver platter, as its honest portrayal of unrest and inequality ensures us that we must earn our accomplishments every step of the way. With excellent dance sequences and hard-won inner battles, Billy Elliot comes together like the most beautiful cinematic bow.
But once I get going, then I forget everything. And sort of disappear.
Number 23, Snatch. Of the many imitators who hope to replicate the quirky dialogue and crime thrills of Pulp Fiction, Guy Ritchie did it better than anyone with Snatch.
I don't want that dog dribbling on my seats.
With a cast that includes Brad Pitt, Jason Statham, and Benicio del Toro, this black comedy set in London's criminal underworld brings together the stories of a boxer, a mob boss, and a coveted diamond. Tarantino's influence can be felt in the larger-than-life characters and over-the-top violence, but Ritchie's direction and supremely quotable screenplay help make Snatch its own thing. Amplified by its self-aware tone and buffoonish performances, it's a roller coaster that runs on its own track, but it's one we should be willing to ride at least once, even if we have to use subtitles to understand anything.
Go and put the kettle on. You take sugar? No, thank you, Turkish. I'm sweet enough.
Number 22, Shadow of the Vampire.
Don't think I can't harm you.
Tell me how you would harm me. And even I don't know how I could harm myself.
Believe it or not, 2024's Nosferatu was not Willem Dafoe's first encounter with the monstrous Count Orlok. That actually came with this satirical horror flick, which recounts the making of the original Nosferatu and stars Dafoe as Max Schreck, the actor who first assumed the role of Orlok. Shadow of the Vampire throws us for a loop by envisioning Schreck as an actual vampire who hunts the crew and his fellow castmates.
You want to eat a writer? Be my guest. That will leave you to explain how else your character is supposed to get to Bremen.
In an Oscar-nominated performance, Dafoe uses popular conceptions about the legendary actor to his advantage, using his introverted disposition as a mask for his dark tendencies. While it makes for an amusing send-up of the filmmaking process, it's also a surprisingly scary film that honors the legacy of horror in its earliest days. Number 21, Dr. Seuss's How the Grinch Stole Christmas. The story itself was already a classic and inspired an iconic TV special back in 1966. But the perennial delights of revisiting this take on How the Grinch Stole Christmas can be summed up in two magical words: Jim Carrey.
Action!
Brilliant! You reject your own nose because it represents the glitter of commercialism. Why didn't I think of that? Cut, print, check the gate, moving on.
Dressed from head to toe in Oscar-winning makeup, Carrie's grumpy antics and hilarious improvisations make for what may be the most memorable version of the Green Meanie. But with an expanded story, this Grinch brings its message about community and friendship into greater focus by giving the character a backstory that we can't help but sympathize with. There's room for everyone in our hearts, especially during the holidays, and thanks to Carrie's commitment, it's easy for us to carve out a place for the Grinch.
I did it. I'm the Grinch that stole Christmas. And I'm sorry.
Number 20, Unbreakable. M. Night Shyamalan's movies have invited plenty of skepticism, some of them with good reason, but the writer-director did well to anticipate moviegoers' increasing fascination with superheroes in his underrated sophomore outing.
Couldn't there be someone else, the opposite of me at the other end? Someone who doesn't get sick, who doesn't get hurt like the rest of us. And he probably doesn't even know it.
Starring Bruce Willis as an everyman reluctant to embrace his superhuman abilities, Unbreakable delivers on the hallmarks of comic book-inspired stories through Shyamalan's unique visual style, but it's the relationship between David Dunn and Samuel L. Jackson's Elijah Price that elevates the film into a more suspenseful and meditative superhero outing with real-world implications.
To not know your place in this world. To not know why you're here. It's just an awful feeling.
This grounded approach brings with it a greater focus on character than the genre often gets on the big screen. The terrific performances and disturbing twists do much to distinguish Unbreakable in a time dominated by more conventional fare. Number 19, You Can Count on Me.
It's just so, there's nothing to do here.
Yes, there is.
No, there isn't, man. It's narrow. It's dull. It's a dull, narrow town full of dull, narrow people who don't know anything except what things are like right around here.
Having won an Oscar for Manchester by the Sea, Kenneth Lonergan solidified his gift for writing naturalistic family drama. That uncompromising realism propelled him to notoriety when his debut feature, You Can Count on Me, took home the top prize at the Sundance Film Festival. Starring Laura Linney and Mark Ruffalo as a pair of estranged siblings reconnecting after years apart, the movie is at its best when the characters are forced to reveal their innermost selves.
Yeah, I don't want to believe in something or not believe in it because I might feel bad. I want to believe in it or not believe in it because I think it's true or not. Yeah, I mean, I want to think that my life is important.
This relationship is contentious to say the least, but You Can Count on Me is better off for not giving them an easy path to redemption. It's a movie that feels all too real at times, but it speaks perfectly to the often agonizing experience that is life. Number 18, Amores Perros. Overlapping narratives is a recurring theme on this list, and this interconnected drama from Mexican auteur Alejandro González Iñárritu is one of the finest the country has to offer. Amores Perros chronicles the lives of three people on the outskirts of society, and their stories are connected by a fateful car accident in Mexico City. Each story captures the character's desire for connection and understanding, and while their goals are simple, the lengths they'll go to achieve them are chaotic and at times disturbing.
¿Has entendido, hermano? Sí entiendo. Y Dios le podrá dar mucha risa, pero yo me voy a seguir con mis planes. Este domingo a las 11 me voy para Ciudad Juárez.
Ya te volviste loco, Octavio. Mira cómo estás.
Iñárritu's direction is intense, yet tightly focused, giving us cause to look away, but understanding that we must keep watching one story in order to understand the others. It's far from a happy experience, but a powerful one nonetheless.
Vente conmigo.
¿Qué?
Sí, vente conmigo, ven. Vente, vámonos de aquí.
Güey, estoy hablando en serio.
Yo también.
Number 17, Remember the Titans. 2000 gave us another heartfelt football film in The Replacements, but when it comes to inspirational gridiron flicks, Remember the Titans is the cream of the crop. Launching an underrated streak of biographical sports dramas for Disney, this one finds Denzel Washington as the head coach of a newly integrated football team.
You got anger, that's good. You're gonna need it, son. You got aggression, that's even better. You're gonna need that too. But any little 2-year-old child can throw a fit. Football is about controlling that anger.
The Titans find themselves forced to confront the prejudice of their community in order to put together a winning season, but they have a valuable voice of reason in Coach Boone. Washington's charisma and knack for delivering powerful monologues provide Remember the Titans with the right ingredients for a cinematic touchdown.
You listen. a lesson from the dead. If we don't come together right now on this hollow ground, we too will be destroyed.
But the movie truly excels in portraying difficult subject matter without talking down to those hoping to learn from it. Number 16, Chicken Run. A not-so-subtle reimagining of The Great Escape, only the geniuses at Aardman Animation could center a story of heroic daring-do around a flock of animals known for their cowardice.
It's chickens, you dolt! Apart from you, they're the most stupid creatures on this planet. They don't plot, they don't scheme, and they are not organized.
Order!
Chicken Run absolutely soars thanks to the absurdity of its concept, which comes complete with entertaining characters and an intelligent script for good measure. Aardman's signature blend of claymation and slapstick humor gives the film a timeless quality, providing enough physical texture to balance out the film's surprisingly thoughtful theme.
Perhaps I didn't explain our situation properly. We lay eggs, day in and day out, and when we can't lay any more, they kill us.
It's a cruel world, Dollface. You might as well get used to it.
Providing enough physical texture to balance out the film's surprising thoughtful themes. The strategy and execution of the chicken's farm escape remains incredibly exciting, staying true to the spirit of the movie it riffs on, but it's the sincere approach to ideas like feminism, exploitation, and revolution that make Chicken Run a cut above the average family film. Number 15, High Fidelity. Why does love hurt so much? And why does it seem like we can only make the wrong moves in our relationships? These are the questions this offbeat rom-com attempts to answer.
That's not what happens now, okay?
Apart from you meet someone, you move in, she goes. You meet someone, you move in, she goes.
Shut up, Mom!
With John Cusack in the lead role, High Fidelity zeroes in on Rob Gordon as he attempts to understand why he's doomed to be single. With a killer soundtrack and ingenious fourth wall breaks in tow, Rob takes us through his most memorable breakups, including the one that's currently playing out. Unlike most romantic comedies, High Fidelity openly acknowledges its protagonist's flaws, with his asides to the camera highlighting his struggle to change.
I told her that I was kind of unhappy in the relationship. And maybe sort of looking around for someone else.
He was sort of maybe looking around for somebody else.
Did I do and say those things?
Yes.
No!
Yes, I did.
Nevertheless, Cusack's self-deprecating wit gives Rob the tools to grow, effectively heightening the movie's refreshingly honest take on the genre. Number 14, The Virgin Suicides. Premiering at the Cannes Film Festival in 1999, before going wide a year later, this drama announced Sofia Coppola as a filmmaking talent to rival her legendary father. Following a group of sheltered sisters who become subjects of fascination to the neighborhood boys, The Virgin Suicides is distinguished by its unorthodox structure. The movie purposefully keeps us at a distance from the Lisbon family, almost as if we can only see what happens in their home from the sidewalk outside.
We knew that the girls were really women in disguise, that they understood love and even death, and that our job was merely to create the noise that seemed to fascinate them.
This ambiguity gives the film a relatable feel, paralleling our lack of understanding with the sisters' inability to discover their true selves. Although it culminates in a tragic outcome, The Virgin Suicides remains palatable due to its mature approach to subjects like conservatism and self-harm.
So much has been said about the girls over the years, but we have never found an answer.
Number 13, Best in Show. The true brilliance of this mockumentary is just how well it understands the ridiculousness of the culture it's parodying. In other words, if Best in Show were a genuine account of real people in the dog show scene, it would still be just as strange and hilarious.
I don't think I ever could get used to being probed and prodded. I told my proctologist once, hey, why don't you take me out to dinner and a movie sometime, you know?
Yes. I remember you said that last year.
That only makes its eccentric ensemble of aspiring champions and their canines that much more endearing. Choosing this cast was clearly a delicate art unto itself, as the likes of Catherine O'Hara, Eugene Levy, and Jennifer Coolidge all understand their improvisational assignments.
He didn't want to dance. I was like dancing by myself.
I did not want to dance because...
Say, get up, Jerry.
I kept saying, I can't dance, I've got two left feet.
They could read as potentially annoying, but writer-director Christopher Guest ensures that there's something to love about each of them. It's a balance of silly and sweet that any comedy hopeful should look to for inspiration. Number 12, X-Men. The X-Men will always be around to save the day, yet The call they answered back in 2000 was so much bigger than they, or any of us, could have anticipated. After a series of commercial failures left superhero movies dead in the water, the genre found a remedy, and then some at Xavier's School for Gifted Youngsters.
Give me a chance. I may be able to help you find some answers. How do you know? You're not the only one with gifts.
Where are you going? He's over there.
With its perfectly assembled cast, thought-provoking themes, and perhaps most importantly, faithfulness to the comics, X-Men embodies everything great about superhero fiction. As the first installment of the long-running franchise, its most commendable quality is arguably its humility. It understands the richness of its characters and ideas without forcing everything on us at once, leaving us satisfied yet all the more excited to move on to the sequels.
The war is still coming, Charles, and I intend to fight it. By any means necessary. And I will always be there. Old friend.
Number 11, The Emperor's New Groove. One of the great what-ifs in Disney's storied history, there's no telling if the epic musical drama The Emperor's New Groove was originally conceived as would have been great. We only know that what it became is a tough act for any animated movie to follow.
Pull the lever, Gronk.
Huh?
Why do we even have that lever?
Starring a slew of hilarious characters, this wacky tale of a self-absorbed emperor who is turned into a llama by his power-hungry advisor is about as close to a Looney Tunes short as Disney gets. Expert comedic chemistry amongst the cast gives the film loads of personality, as does an infinitely quotable screenplay that never fails to make us roll on the floor laughing.
Uh-oh.
Don't tell me. We're about to go over a huge waterfall.
Yep.
Sharp rocks at the bottom?
Most likely.
Bring it on.
It's absurdist comedy for absurdist comedy's sake, and we can't get enough of it. Number 10, Castaway. Anyone who believes that spending 2 hours with only one character is a chore should put Castaway at the top of their watch list. Robert Zemeckis' adventure drama makes expert use of its solitary setting and its sole inhabitant.
Do you have to keep bringing that up? Can't you just forget it? Huh? You were right. You were right. It was a good thing that we did a test, because it wasn't going to be just a quick little snap.
In one of his most transformative and gut-wrenching performances, Tom Hanks gives life to FedEx worker Chuck Noland, who spends 4 years calling his tropical surroundings home after a fatal plane crash. With only a volleyball named Wilson to keep him company, Chuck's determination to survive is as moving a testament to the human spirit as cinema has to offer.
There's not much time. But we live and we die by time, don't we? Let's not commit the sin of turning our back on time.
Although Zemeckis' films are known for their use of groundbreaking visual effects, it's the simplicity and tangibility of Castaway that make it one of its finest offerings. Number 9, Requiem for a Dream. Few movies take as direct an approach to dire subject matter the way this one does, but that's exactly why Requiem for a Dream deserves to be experienced.
I am telling you, that croak was no good.
How come you know so much, huh? How come you know more about medicine than a doctor?
Believe me, Ma, I know.
Following 4 people in the throes of substance use disorder, its morose tone and riveting performances make it one of cinema's most consistently heartbreaking movies. With each character helplessly searching for their next high in an internal struggle, the film both starts and ends from a place of desperation and despair. The haunting imagery is both thought-provoking and utterly terrifying, taking things about as far as they can go without descending into traditional horror. Requiem for a Dream initiates the conversation around the issue with open honesty, and the results are both deeply troubling and deeply effective. Number 8, Oh Brother, Where Art Thou? We're more than excited about Christopher Nolan's upcoming adaptation of The Odyssey, but we haven't forgotten about the fantastic, if not quite as fantastical take on Homer's epic that the Coen brothers have already blessed us with.
Them sirens did this to Pete. They loved him up and turned him into a horny toad.
Exchanging ancient Greece for Depression-era Mississippi, George Clooney assumes the Odysseus role as Everett, a convict who ropes his two buddies into ditching their chain gang to search for treasure. It's an old-fashioned adventure made all the more enthralling by its incredible soundtrack, which is widely considered one of the greatest of all time. The eclectic mix of folk, bluegrass, and gospel is, in many ways, a character unto itself, giving the outlandish escapades a homespun charm that enhances the film's perfect recreation of a time gone by. Number 7. Traffic. Steven Soderbergh is one of the only filmmakers to receive 2 Oscar nominations for Best Director in the same year. While his work on Aaron Brockovich is equally commendable, the movie he ultimately won the award for, Traffic, takes rawness and urgency to the next level. Centering multiple stories around the illegal drug trade, each thread is united by the film's uncompromising depiction of a world corrupted by substance use and its long-term effects.
We hire drivers with nothing to lose and throw a lot of product at the problem. Some get stopped. Enough get through, it's not difficult. Look, boys, this has worked for years, okay? And it's gonna continue to work for years. NAFTA makes things even more difficult for you because the border is disappearing.
With an all-star cast providing humanity to even its most unlikable characters, Traffic bravely explores morally gray concepts like justice, self-interest, and accountability. It's by no means easy viewing, but it understands the dimensions of its subject enough to know that posing difficult questions is more meaningful than providing easy answers.
If there is a war on drugs, then many of our family members are the enemy. And I don't know how you wage war on your own family.
Number 6. American Psycho. This adaptation attracted about as much controversy as the Bret Easton Ellis novel that inspired it, but with its unique blend of psychological horror and biting satire, American Psycho has only grown more and more relevant with each passing year.
You have a really nice place here, Paul. How much did you pay for it?
Well, actually, that's none of your business, Christy. But I can assure you, it certainly wasn't cheap.
Christian Bale is at his absolute best as the vain and sociopathic Patrick Bateman, finding nuance in the vain exterior that just barely conceals the investment banker's murderous proclivities. American Psycho is at once deeply disturbing and uncomfortably hilarious, casting aspersions on capitalism and toxic masculinity in one fell swoop. With a troubled protagonist that we both fear and can't help but laugh at, the brilliant tonal balance is matched only by its iconic lead performance and its oddly quotable dialogue.
And though I can hide my cold gaze, and you can shake my hand and feel flesh gripping yours, and maybe you can even sense our lifestyles are probably comparable, I simply am not there.
Number 5. In the Mood for Love. Hailed for his vivid color palette and introspective storytelling, Hong Kong director Wong Kar-wai made the most romantic movie of the year with In the Mood for Love. Following two people who begin seeing one another after their spouses start an affair, it's a movie all about the missed opportunities that come with unfortunate circumstances. The chemistry between Maggie Cheung and Tony Leung Chau-wei is off the charts, with quiet moments and longful expressions conveying more than physical contact ever could. As Cho and Sue reckon with their desires and their need to protect what they already have, it becomes clear that this won't be a fairy tale ending. And yet, it remains one of cinema's greatest depictions of romance at its most intimate and complicated. Number 4. Almost Famous.
I trust you, so I'm just gonna lay this right on you. Just make us look cool.
I will quote you warmly and accurately.
Loosely based on his own experiences, Cameron Crowe wrote and directed this coming-of-age tale about a teenage journalist covering the life and times of the rock band Stillwater. Although Almost Famous wasn't a financial success, it was one of the most acclaimed films of 2000. With its nuanced yet entertaining assortment of easygoing rockers, not to mention its authentically calibrated soundtrack of 70s classics, the film perfectly captures the mentality of the period it celebrates.
I have to go home.
Count the headlights on the highway.
You are home.
But Crowe's deft handling of sobering themes, like the price of fame and its superficial pleasures, is what truly sets it apart from others like it. There aren't many movies that use rock and roll to teach us a valuable lesson, and that's exactly what this one does. Number 3. Gladiator. About halfway through this phenomenal historical epic, imprisoned gladiator Maximus asks his spectators a very important question, and one that echoes the experience of watching his story.
Are you not entertained? Are you not entertained?
Entertained, we most certainly are, as Gladiator has held up as a cornerstone of its genre, strong enough to rival any of its forebears from decades prior. It accomplishes all of this with heart-racing action, impeccable production values, and stunning performances from Russell Crowe as Maximus and Joaquin Phoenix as the wicked Commodus. Director Ridley Scott's perfectionist tendencies more than paid off, as Gladiator would go on to win Best Picture at the Academy Awards and inspire a veritable army of imitators. Not bad for a movie that started shooting without a completed script.
My name is Maximus Decimus Meridius, commander of the armies of the North, general of the Felix Legions, loyal servant to the true emperor Marcus Aurelius, father to a murdered son, husband to a murdered wife, and I will have my vengeance in this life or the next.
Number 2. Memento. Although he's now one of Hollywood's most respected filmmakers, Christopher Nolan first made a splash with this unassuming yet innovative thriller. Starring Guy Pearce as an amnesiac searching for his wife's killer, it's one of cinema's truest testaments to word-of-mouth interest and the power of going into a film completely blind.
Look, memory can change the shape of a room, it can change the color of a car. And memories can be distorted. They're just an interpretation, they're not a record. And they're irrelevant if you have the facts.
With a narrative involving 2 plot lines that play out in different orders, Memento is undeniably complex, inviting both frustration and intrigue. But it's also a wholly unique depiction of grief that drops us fully into its protagonist's dizzying state of mind. Topped off by an ending so good, we wish we could wipe it from our memories. It's a puzzle we'll never completely solve, but Nolan more than trusts us to keep trying.
Do I lie to myself to be happy? In your case, Teddy, yes, I will.
Before we continue, be sure to subscribe to our channel and ring the bell to get notified about our latest videos. You have the option to be notified for occasional videos or all of them. If you're on your phone, make sure you go into your settings and switch on notifications.
Number 1. Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon. Both the action genre and international cinema have hit a stride in the 21st century, and it's arguably thanks to the unprecedented success of this wuxia masterpiece. Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon stars screen legends Michelle Yeoh and Chow Yun-fat as 2 warriors searching for a mythical sword in 19th century China.
我诚心诚意地把清明剑交出来，却带给我们更多的烦恼。
压抑只会让感情更强烈。
我也阻止不了我的欲望。我想跟你在一起。
Setting the example for every martial arts movie to follow, the delicate wire work gives the characters a gravity-defying appearance, lending the fight scenes a balletic and ultimately incomparable feel. Any one of them are movies unto themselves, but they're made stronger by terrific performances and Ang Lee's calculated direction. The quest for the Green Destiny has true consequences, and we can't help but hold our breath every time we see it play out.
那是李慕白的剑，
有本事来拿。
有本事就别用宝剑。
哼，打不赢怪兵器不好。
What's your favorite movie from the year 2000? What movies will we still be talking about in the year 3000? Let us know in the comments.
Have I missed it? Have I missed the battle?
You have missed the war.
Did you enjoy this video? Check out these other clips from WatchMojo, and be sure to subscribe and ring the bell to be notified about our latest videos.